You're listening to Lanta, a Bittersweet MM Romance written by Tonkoi and read by me, Eddie Tonkoi. This is Chapter 2, part of a free 45-minute sample available now at journtonkoi.com/free. The full audiobook will be available soon. Now, let's get back to the story. The Colour of the Breeze. When I woke the following afternoon, I found Michael sprawled in bed, still passed out in our hotel room. He stank of stale alcohol and sweat. His mouth hung open in a distinctly unattractive way, but I had no sympathy for him. My mind was elsewhere, on the mysterious stranger from the beach. Had it been real? Had I dreamt up that kiss in some drunken haze? I slipped out of the room, leaving Michael to whatever nightmares might plague his sleep. Then I trudged down the length of Long Beach under a blazing sun that felt more punishing than any I remembered in Europe. Squinting against the glare, I scanned the horizon for a fishing boat, something that might match the silhouette I'd seen the night before. Hope propelled me on. I walked for hours, sand gritting between my toes and sticking to my sweaty skin. I wanted to believe that the event had been real, not just a boozy hallucination. The clarity and tenderness of the kiss refused to leave my mind. It felt heartbreakingly genuine, even though I'd tasted the bitterness of my tears only minutes prior. But the sea was dotted with boats, and each time I tried to spot a familiar shape, it just turned out to be a different vessel or a trick of the light. Eventually, exhaustion and dehydration reminded me I was made of flesh, bone, and an overtaxed heart. I sank down under the shade of a coconut tree, letting my arms drop onto the sand. The wide brim of my sun hat, ridiculous as it was, shielded me from further scorching. I sat there for half an hour, grappling with disappointment. In that time, I replayed my foolishness with Michael, the shock of the kiss from the stranger, and the agony of wanting something impossible. It was all swirling together in my mind, creating an emotional brew that left me restless and unsatisfied. By 5 o'clock, the shadows had grown long, but the sun was still punishingly strong. I considered abandoning my search. I didn't even know the man's name. Had I just been a foolish drunk, imagining comfort where there was none? Perhaps it was best left as a single, unforgettable moment, a beautiful but ephemeral experience that wouldn't weigh me down. Just as I was about to retreat to the hotel, I heard the hum of a motorboat coming ashore. The boat slowed as it neared the sand, and there at the back, knees bent in a confident stance, was the very person I'd been looking for. I recognised that lithe, muscular form, the deep brown skin, the crooked grin that curved the lips I'd tasted the night before. He guided the rudder, bringing the boat to a gentle stop in the shallows. Another man, older, probably in his 40s, jumped off. They exchanged a few words in English, something about rinsing off snorkel gear. My mysterious stranger hopped down as well, grabbing a basket of gear. They waded ashore and walked to a ramshackle bamboo hut. A shack would be more accurate. I stood rooted in place, unable to speak, hardly believing my luck. When the older man emerged and left on a motorbike, I decided I had a chance to approach. I hovered near the shack for a while, trying to still my racing heart. Should I knock? Should I call out? My typical English reserve battled fiercely with my curiosity and longing. In the end, the last rays of the sun reminded me that daylight was slipping away. I hadn't chased a personal desire like this in years, and so, summoning my courage, I walked up and rapped on the bamboo door. No response. I tried again, more insistent this time, anxiety bubbling in my chest. Still nothing. The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the sea and sky in brilliant shades of pink and purple. My chance was evaporating along with the light. Heart pounding, I pushed the door open. Inside, The front room was dark and scattered with a few makeshift shelves, a bamboo bed doubling as seating, and snorkeling equipment hanging on the wall. A partition screen at the back let through the faint glow of a candle. The gentle splash of water reached my ears, and I picked my way across the uneven bamboo floor until I reached the screen. I wish I'd knocked again, because what I found stole my breath in more ways than one. He stood there, naked, a dipper in one hand, rinsing himself with water from a large clay pot. Candlelight played over the curves of his broad shoulders and illuminated the rivulets of water sliding down his smooth, hairless chest. His eyes met mine with a startled expression. "Oh, I'm terribly sorry," I stammered, turning my head away even as I felt my cheeks flame. "I didn't." I withdrew into the front room. "Wait," he said in English from behind the screen. "You're the guy from last night, aren't you?" Relief surged through me. He remembered. Yes, I am. I'm sorry to intrude. I wasn't sure how to find you." He let out a breathy half laugh. "I didn't think we'd meet again. After your friend threw up, you took him back to your hotel, right?" "Yes, that's right." Silence followed, punctuated by the occasional splash of water. Perhaps I should have said something, but my head was still reeling from the fact that I was finally talking to this man. "So, what are you looking for?" His voice was guarded. You. I meant..." He poked his head out from behind the bamboo screen. "Are you looking for, a good time?" The way he said it sounded rehearsed, yet uncertain. "No," I blurted out before remembering myself. I cleared my throat awkwardly, flushing even more. "I'm not trying to purchase anything. I just wanted to see you again. Talk. That's it. I wanted to talk to you." He exhaled in relief. Tension visibly dropped off his shoulders. "Okay, I won't be long," he said, and disappeared back behind the screen to finish off his bathing. The light of a single candle seeped through thin gaps between the bamboo slats. There wasn't much I could see from the next room, merely light and shadow, but my imagination was working overtime to put together a vivid scene akin to an erotic fantasy. I had to turn my back and chide my own obscenity. A sound of fabric swishing. He was drying himself. "How old are you?" I couldn't stop myself from asking after our unfortunate conversation earlier. 19, he answered. "I know, maybe I look younger, or older. I get both sometimes, but I'm 19. I nodded. There was something about his appearance, not quite a typical local I had seen on the island. My gaze drifted to the bamboo screen. This time it wouldn't leave, mesmerised by the possibility of light and shadow. "I'm Lester," I said at last. He walked around the screen and said, "I'm Ceylon." Part of me felt oddly disappointed to see the towel around his waist. Another part of me felt relief at being able to hold a coherent conversation without my mind short-circuiting. We left the shack, the sky now fully dark. A few ragged clouds drifted across the moon, and the breeze off the ocean was cool against my sunburnt skin. My stomach chose that moment to gurgle, a reminder that I hadn't eaten anything that day. "I'm starving," Ceylon said. "There's a food peddler up the road. You want to eat first?" I nodded eagerly. "I'd love to." We found a small roadside stall a few minutes away. A portable gas burner hissed beneath the wok, and the air was fragrant with chilies, garlic and fish sauce. I ordered a plate of fried basil chicken with rice and a fried egg on top. I've never been one for overly spicy foods, but after the first few bites made my eyes water, I found myself enjoying the complexity. Meanwhile, I watched in amazement as Ceylon polished off 2 large plates with impressive speed. gulping down water from a plastic cup to douse the heat of the chili peppers. "Hungry?" I teased. He grinned, a bashful expression that lit up his dark brown eyes. "I only ate a small breakfast, and I was out on a snorkeling trip most of the day. They paid me to guide them." So he was a guide. It fit the athletic look he had, someone accustomed to swimming, hauling gear and working in the sun. The mental image of him gliding underwater through schools of fish in that unbelievably clear sea flitted through my mind. We finished eating, paid the vendor, and continued our walk. On the way back to the beach, we passed a convenience store. A sign with bright neon colours spelt out something in Thai. Inside, the fluorescent lights were so glaring it made me squint after the gentle darkness outside. "You want a drink?" he asked, heading toward the beverage aisle. "Sure," I said. Ceylon picked up a can of Coke and flashed me a quick look. "What do you drink?" he asked. I plucked a can of local Thai beer from the fridge. "I'll have a beer." He paused and stared at the red can in his hand dejectedly before putting it down and grabbing a second can of beer for himself. "I'll have a beer too." I raised an eyebrow. "You didn't seem like a beer guy." "Yeah, I like beer," he shrugged. "Besides, I've got no morning bookings tomorrow. I can afford to be a bit hungover." I gave a small laugh. No one was going to get a hangover from one can of beer. We took our beers outside and ended up on the small deck of his fishing boat, which was partially grounded on the sand as the tide went out. The boat rocked gently with the motion of the sea. Overhead, a blanket of stars was visible through the patchy cloud cover, a sight I seldom got to see back in London. We cracked open our beers. He took an experimental sip, wrinkling his nose at the bitterness. I did my best to hold in the laugh as I watched a boy mistakenly trying to become a man via choice of beverage. This reminded me of the kiss the previous night. For all his composure, Ceylon seemed new to certain experiences. Was that kiss also one of his experiments? "Bitter?" I teased. "It'll get better." He took another sip, more confidently this time. A comfortable quiet settled between us, punctuated only by the slosh of water against the hull and our occasional murmurs. After a moment, I ventured, "So, your name is Ceylon, like that famous road in Bangkok?" He nodded. "Yes, my mother used to work there, so she named me after the place." "What did your mother do there?" I asked, though I instantly regretted prying. He looked down, picking at the wooden deck. I knew immediately I'd trodden on a sensitive topic. I said, "Forgive me. It wasn't my place to—" "No." Ceylon grabbed my wrist and cut me short. No, it's all right. My mother, she was a hooker. Patpong area. Do you know it?" I hesitated, recalling the red light district I'd briefly passed through in Bangkok. Another bad decision Michael and I had made when we were together. The memory was hazy, just a swirl of neon signs, loud music, and questionable tourists stumbling along in search of cheap thrills. "Ah, yes, I know the place." I wanted to be as honest with him as he was with me. "Got pregnant with me, came back home to Lanta." "Oh." I paused, searching for words. "You don't have to." "It's fine," he said with a forced lightness. "We've all got to start somewhere." Feeling terrible for pressing him, I nodded, hoping my expression conveyed sympathy instead of pity. "Does Ceylon mean anything specific in Thai?" I asked. She believed it meant the colour of the breeze, he said, voice softening with a hint of nostalgia. "But actually, the name of that road, Ceylon, refers to windmill." He let out a small chuckle. "My mother's version is more poetic, so that's the one I prefer." The colour of the breeze, I repeated, and my memory churned. Deep in my chest, I felt a tug of childlike wonder, a sense that maybe I could see colours in the wind again, if only I let myself. Without warning, a gust swept across us. The hairs on my arms stood up, and for a split second, I thought I saw a tinge of bluish-green swirling in the air, dancing just beyond my vision. That was Chapter 2 of Lanta. If you'd like to continue listening, you can stream the rest of Part 1 or sign up to be notified when the full audiobook is released. Just visit journtonkoi.com/free. Thank you for listening.